Hello and welcome to Sobrix. I'm Adam and this is Sobrix. This is my channel for reviewing Lego sets and building them and other Lego related stuff. In this video, I'm going to be taking another look at the Lego Creator 3-in-1 Rotor Rescue set. I've already done 3 videos for this set where I looked at the main build of this Rotor Rescue helicopter. I did a video about the alternate build for this biplane, and I have in front of me the third alternate build for this kind of speedboat catamaran type vehicle. And I really enjoyed all of them, but this is a Lego Creator 3-in-1 plus 1, which means there is one more model, official model, but the instructions are not included here. They can be found online, and I've done this before with maybe only one other set, but I am excited to get into this one here, and this one looks to be kind of like a airboat type model, and I really liked the catamaran a lot, and part of the reason was the kind of engine detail here, and this looks like it has some of that going on as well. So I'm pretty excited to see this, excited to see how many pieces it uses versus the other ones, and seeing if it can do anything kind of extra creative or anything like that. So in this video, I'm going to take apart the catamaran model, the third alternate model, and then I'm going to put together this fourth model, and then I'm going to share my thoughts on it. So while I disassemble this and while I build the airboat, I will speed the video up, and then I'll slow it back down to review the final model for this set. So until then, enjoy! Okay, so while we look at the disassembly for this alternate build of the Rotor Rescue set, Creator 3-in-1, and while we look at the build for the fourth the fourth model for this Lego Creator 3-in-1 Rotor Rescue, this is the Airboat model. I just wanted to say thanks for watching, and then if you remind you, if you like this video, click the thumbs up. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button. That helps me a lot. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and everybody who's subscribed is a big part of that, and it means a lot to me, so thank you very much. And this comes together relatively quick, and it's another one that I liked more than I thought I would, so I go into it in detail. So now on to my review for this set. Okay, so here is the fourth kind of bonus model for this Lego Creator 3-in-1 Rotor Rescue set. This is sort of the airboat model, and it's one that I didn't anticipate when I bought this set. Actually, when I bought this set, this instruction booklet was underneath this one, and I didn't know exactly, so I had to look it up and see what it was, and I still didn't know that it was going to have a bonus model here, and so this is that bonus model. I think it's kind of like an airboat type thing, maybe a riverboat, something that they might use in shallower areas and things of that nature. So I was pretty excited about this one. I was really impressed with the catamaran speedboat is what I've been calling it. I thought the helicopter and the plane were okay, but I really liked the boat, and now we have this one. So the first thing to make note of is the leftover pieces. So I thought this one was going to be a little bit smaller, or at least use fewer pieces. So over here we have all the pieces that were in the main model but not in this one, and I think, you know, any of these 4 kind of longer plates here, we don't use. One of the longer yellow pieces, one of the 4x4s, one of these kind of like droid R2-D2 bodies, and a cone piece. We only use 1 propeller out of the 2, and there's a few other ones, but there are fewer leftover pieces here than I would have thought. Some of them are bigger than maybe the average piece in this model, but this model does actually use more than I anticipated. I couldn't get a great sense of scale for these based on looking at the images here, but I actually think all 4 of these models could kind of be next to each other and not really be too far off. I think the plane might be a little bit small, but it's pretty interesting there. So I thought that was cool. So these are leftover pieces. Here's a couple extra pieces from the main build that were extra there. And so now we have this kind of airboat. So this is very interesting. We start off with 2 of the 2x10s of these plates that we use here. We connect those together with various pieces down there. It's not solid down there, but we do have some studs on the side stuff, and we use those 1x3 bricks in yellow behind here, which is good. Then we add kind of some, we expand it out with these kind of inverted slope pieces here to add to the back. We also do that to the front. So this actually comes to a really nice point here. It's tapered off really, really well. It tapers off this way too, which is nice. I like that. This one does have probably the most kind of, I would say, with this and the boat, the catamaran speedboat have kind of more modern techniques, and I think for the boat, a lot of that one was based around, or a lot of my feelings that corresponded to that were based around like the engine detail, and this has that. But making this whole sub-assembly and then putting it on studs on the side, I didn't expect after building maybe the plane, which doesn't have a ton of that, but it is present here, which is really nice. We do use the windscreen. We use all 4 of the 1x2 bricks that are in the like dark translucent or trans black, trans brown kind of color, the older color. This is the only one except for the main build, the helicopter, the Rotor Rescue bit that uses this piece, which is like maybe a handheld accessory or maybe a pulley or maybe a different thing for a minifigure or whatever. It's not used in any like amazing way. It's actually used pretty similar to how it was used on the helicopter set. Same for the kind of light over here, but I'm glad that they were used. We do have kind of a space in there, and again, I guess I am a fool for not like checking this with the helicopter, because I didn't kind of try to see if a minifigure would fit. And for this one, if I pop off the hair and really lean them back, it seems like it's going to be a little bit difficult there, but doable. And so they're leaned pretty far back. Technically, they can fit in there. I think they look a little bit big in there for the scale. And this set doesn't come with any minifigures, so I don't think things are kind of intended to be minifig scale, but I don't know if at the time that was kind of like the default, whether or not something came with a minifigure. Maybe that was supposed to be what the goal was. So I don't know about that, but it is kind of interesting that you can make it work for at least 3 of the side builds. And looking at the main build, the main helicopter build, I really don't think you can up here. You can maybe sit someone down in the back, and they have a ramp at the back, but then all 3 of the alternates, you can get a minifigure in there, and it doesn't look too off, which is kind of interesting and nice. And the shape of that is really cool. We have the slopes here, which kind of match up with some of these all the way around. Then we tile out the back there. We use some of these like grooved bricks in there, have a little opening for like a rear window, and some of the cheese wedges there. And then we do use a good amount of pieces kind of for the engine or the turbine or the fan at the back of this airboat here. And some of this is similar to the one that was on the back of the catamaran, but it is also very different, and it uses some of the pieces in different ways. So, for example, we do use one of the droid, like R2-D2 type body pieces in the dark bluish gray, kind of in the middle there, which is neat. And then we put a Technic pin on either side and put them in these 1x1 bricks with the Technic pinhole. We add like a cone on here on one of these type pieces, which is nice. We do both of the cones over there, add the modified plates up there. We do add some jumpers. This one uses the bracket, and I don't think either of the other alternate builds used the bracket piece up here, which is that gray one that has a couple studs, over on this side and 4 up on this side, which is cool to see. And then we have, the vented pieces there, and then we have the fan on the back. Now, if you've already noticed, maybe some of the tiles that are on the fan are a little bit delicate. So these 1x2s that are on the end aren't, they're only attached with one stud there. And so they're not like super secure. They could fall off. They have fallen off as I've been, playing with this and bumping into it and stuff, because that's not like the most secure connection there. But I think the fan is actually a pretty good size for this. It allows it to like be resting on the ground and still be able to spin, which is nice, and it gets pretty close to the bottom, so this feels like the right size for this fan here. Instead of having, these clipped pieces on, they went on the catamaran kind of one way with the kind of flipped around. They had the gray studs up here, and then those were facing outward, and this way we put the two studs on each on the bottom and kind of fold those in. So it's a different look, even though it's a very minor change. It's not a big change at all. So that's really cool. And overall, I think like with this aspect, the bottom of the kind of R2D2 like body there kind of has a fan turbine engine kind of feel to it, kind of a look to it. I think that really plays nicely here, and I like how this kind of goes off the back, and it does look like it could be in a shallower depth, which is very cool. So I really like this. It used more pieces than I thought. There's not a ton of visible studs like there was on the helicopter or the plane. So like we have a couple up here, but I can kind of am kind of fine with that, and we did some stuff to kind of address that. A couple back here, but not too many. And up here, there's very few, if any, which is really nice. So I think they did a good job with this one. And this, I'm sure, does not float, but and it doesn't have the kind of inverted tiles under here to make it glide easier, but this set didn't come with any of those inverted tiles or anything. So I think this is pretty cool. Now this is one that might be closer to like a $10 box. It still might be a little bit big for that. It's heavy. There is a good amount of weight here with some bigger pieces and some bricks. And I felt like the plane was maybe close to like a $10 box in 2024. The catamaran kind of speedboat, race boat, I think was maybe more substantial than what would be in a $10 box. This one probably is as well, but it's kind of close. It's kind of right on the border there. And if I can compare this to other $10 Creator 3-in-1s, this might be okay. So that's pretty cool. I do really like this model, and I don't know if there's anything I don't like about it. It's just well done, and I didn't really come into this set expecting to like the race boat, or I didn't even know this was going to be a possibility, but then once I did, I was pretty excited about it. And I really like this. So this could potentially be a model that could stand on its own. I think the other boat could do that as well. I actually think kind of the main model is pretty good or great, but not as good as, to me, as the boats. And the plane, I think, is the weakest one in my opinion, but they did a really good job, kind of keeping things on theme. I think this one of the things I talked about with some of the other sets, the color blocking is a little more jumbled in this one, whereas for the helicopter and the speedboat, I thought the color blocking was very intentional and well done. This one and the plane don't have as consistent of color blocking there. Nothing really looks like out of place necessarily, but it's just not as I think kind of coordinated in a way. But I understand that that's for the piece budgets and everything like that. It kind of that's the way it works, and so that's pretty good. And yeah, this does use more than I thought it would, but we do have 4 of these bigger, I think these are 1x12s in the black there that aren't used. There are probably extra pieces over here that could be used. This little red translucent cheese wedge could be put on a jumper there, which would make sense. You could use these studs on the side bricks somewhere else, and that would totally make sense. There's a few other things that just for no reason in particular, you could pop this piece kind of in the rear here, and maybe that would give it even more kind of detail at the back and stuff, which is cool. I actually kind of like that. It feels like it adds even more to like the engine kind of construction here, which is nice. So there is stuff that, you know, could be done, which I talked about with potentially the plane or the boat and other things. So there is room here to still like change things and whatever. And I'm pretty impressed with these boats. This is like very small. This is probably the smallest model out of all of them in terms of like, you know, area, footprint, visual weight. The other ones are either longer and wider or something like that. This one probably does have more kind of concentration, is probably denser of a build in here than some of the other ones, less empty space, but that's cool. And I'm just very impressed by, you know, the diversity of these 4 builds given the pieces here. And I also really like that they're all could be rescue vehicles. They all are kind of you know, they're all from the same pieces, and they all are relatively good. I think one of the things I talked about is this kind of felt like a vintage model to me, even though it's from 2009, 2010. This one, the plane, really felt like a vintage model to me. I would say the boat felt less like it. It felt a little bit more modern, and I think honestly this feels slightly more modern too, but it's a possibility that like 2009, 2010 is kind of in the transitional area. I mentioned, I think in the first video for the main model, that I wasn't really aware when the transition happened or how long it took, and I'm sure it's kind of incremental and not noticeable, but there is a pretty stark difference between building techniques and part availability and part design and part usage from, you know, Lego from the 70s, 80s, 90s versus you know, 2013 versus even from 2013 to 2024, because even when I look at, you know, sometimes hidden side stuff or Chima stuff or Nexonite stuff, which are kind of in between this and like the Rivendell or this even, and like the Red Dragon Creator 3-in-1 for $10, or the Magical Unicorn from the year prior, or something like that, or the Exotic Parrot Creator 3-in-1, those feel like more modern. And there's other sets that I don't know if I have other Creator 3-in-1s that are kind of in between that area as well. I may, and then I can kind of analyze my thoughts and feelings and kind of compare them. But overall, I thought this was really, really cute, really cool, really fun. It looks good, and it's a solid toy. This set total has 149 pieces, and I paid $12 for it. It retailed for $13 back in the 2010s, and so it's 15 years old almost. If it came out in 2009, retired maybe in 2012 or 2013, but it's still like 10 years old. And, you know, considering inflation and considering the Lego price changes and any other kind of economic differences over these 10 years, I don't really feel bad about paying $12 for this. You know, it's slightly under retail. It is an old set. One of the things I talked about in all of the other videos in relation to the value is that you could get a sealed one of these in the States for $20, $25 plus shipping. A used one, like the one I purchased was used, you could maybe get it for less than $10 and then have to pay shipping. I didn't have to pay shipping for this. I got this from a Bricks and Minifigs where I just paid the $12. And you know, in Bricks and Minifigs you can also like trade stuff into them, or they might buy stuff from you, so there's other ways that you can kind of make that work. And I think that I got a really good deal. I'm totally happy paying $12 for this. And when I think about it, you know, obviously you pay for the raw material, the plastic, the pieces here, but I got to build 4 pretty unique models, all from a Lego designer, all from the Lego group, and I paid $12, so that's like $4 for each separate build. And even though they reuse the same pieces and there are all these similarities, and that's kind of the beautiful thing about Creator 3-in-1s, I still feel like that's really, really cool and really, really good. So I'm very pleased with these. We've already kind of looked at the leftover pieces. These are pieces that, in combination with all the ones in the boat, would make up the helicopter. For whatever reason, I had a extra or spare 2x2, which I think is an error, and then just a round gray stud there. And there's other pieces that in 2024 I would think we would get extras of that weren't in this when I bought it, but none of them are consequential in any way. It has everything that it needs, and I enjoyed putting these all together. This was really, really cool to me. So a great set. I think I actually have another used Lego Creator 3-in-1, but I don't know from when it is. It might be from like the 2016 time, and that was one that I got from the kind of charity thrift store Lego event that I went to, and I believe that one was not sealed. It's used, and I think the main model might be built, but I'm gonna have to go through that one and make sure I have all the pieces. This one was at least piece checked by Bricks and Minifigs employees, and they verified it. But I do have another Creator 3-in-1 that might be in kind of that intermediate era that I was mentioning, between the 2020s and the 2010s, and kind of see how those things differ. But this is really cool. I don't know what my favorite is, or if I'm gonna pick one of these to leave together. If I'm able to, I could see myself getting more of this set, especially if I can get a good deal, because I do like more of these models at once, and I kind of would like to be able to compare them all side by side. I don't think I'm going to go as far as to buy 4 of this same thing, but potentially down the road that might be something I would consider. It's something I've done with Creator 3-in-1s in the past, and this was a very pleasant surprise. I did not think I was going to enjoy this set as much as I did, so that's really, really great. I think I got a good deal, and got to spend a lot of time with the pieces, a lot of time building and disassembling and building and disassembling and talking about Lego, which is something I love to do. So very, very good for me. I like it. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up and give it a like. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the Lego videos I'll be doing here in the future, including more Lego Creator 3-in-1s, and then tons of other Lego sets, Lego videos from all different themes, all different shapes, size, price point, piece count, old sets, new sets, retired sets, some used sets, and tons of other stuff. So subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming Lego videos. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and it'd be incredible to get there. So I think next I got to get to 940, and then 950 and 960 and all the way up. But I'm hoping I can make it there, and I appreciate all the help, all the support on making that happen. It means a lot to me. So thank you very much for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, and if you wanted to support this channel in another way, you could do that here on YouTube with membership supers and thanks. And I have the Patreon. It's linked in the video description. It's linked on my channel page, patreon.com/sobricks. So maybe consider checking those things out. It does help. Oh, I didn't talk about this, and I don't know if it's intentional or not, but you can change the angle of the fan a little bit here, just by virtue of the kind of the way that it's connected to those bricks with the Technic pinhole and everything. And that actually, I don't know if that's something that airboats do, but maybe. I think it'd be more they would turn on a different axis there. But anyway, that's something I didn't mention, but I'm realizing now. But maybe consider checking out the Patreon and the memberships and stuff like that. That does really, really help, and I appreciate it. But I'm just really grateful to anybody who watches, likes, comments, subscribes, all that wonderful stuff. It is very, very nice of you, and I'm glad I got to share my Lego stuff with anybody who watches. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And with all that said, until next time, thanks. Bye.